Taurus, what I'm seeing for you right now is absolutely mind-blowing, and I can barely contain myself because this energy is just wow. Okay, let me breathe for a second, because what just came through for you is going to change everything you thought you knew about your situation. Before we dive in, I need you to understand something. The cards are literally screaming at me right now, and the first card that flew out, I actually had to put it back and shuffle again because I thought I was seeing things wrong. But no, the universe is insistent about this message for you. The first card that came flying out for you is the Five of Wands and Taurus. This is not what anyone would expect for your situation right now. Everyone thinks Five of Wands is just about conflict and fighting, but what I'm seeing here is so much deeper. This card is showing me that you have been in a situation where everyone around you has been pulling you in different directions, trying to control your narrative, trying to tell you what you can and cannot do. But here's what's incredible about this energy. The Five of Wands isn't showing conflict for you, it's showing the conflict you're about to create. You see those 5 people fighting with their wands? That's everyone else scrambling, because you just did something that completely disrupted their entire game plan. They had you figured out, Taurus. They thought they knew exactly how you would react, exactly what you would tolerate, exactly where your boundaries were. And then you went and did that thing, the thing that made their jaws drop, the thing that made them realize they never really knew you at all. I'm getting chills right now because the energy around this Five of Wands is electric. It's not chaotic energy, it's powerful energy. It's the energy of someone who has been underestimated for so long that when they finally show their true strength, it creates shockwaves. You know what I love about this? They thought Taurus was just the stubborn one, the predictable one, the one who would just take whatever they dished out. But you've been calculating, you've been planning, and when you made your move, it was so strategic, so perfectly timed, that it left them completely defenseless. The Five of Wands is showing me that right now, they're all talking about you. They're all trying to figure out how they missed the signs. They're all wondering what else you're capable of that they don't know about. And honestly, good for you, Taurus. It's about time they realized you're not someone to be taken lightly. But we're just getting started because the next card, oh honey, the next card is going to destroy you in the best possible way. The Knight of Cups just appeared, and I'm literally getting goosebumps because this is so not what anyone would expect after Five of Wands. Everyone thinks after conflict comes more aggression, more hardness. But no, Taurus, your secret weapon isn't anger. Your secret weapon is your heart. The Knight of Cups is riding in to show me that your low blow wasn't delivered with cruelty or spite. It was delivered with truth. It was delivered with emotional intelligence so sharp it cut right through their illusions. You didn't just hurt them, Taurus. You healed something by refusing to enable their behavior anymore. This Knight is showing me that you approach this situation with more emotional maturity than anyone in your circle. While they were playing games, you were operating from a place of authentic feeling. While they were manipulating, you were being real. And that realness, that authenticity, that's what hit them like a freight train. The Knight of Cups doesn't just bring messages of love, he brings messages of truth through love. And sometimes the most loving thing you can do is stop pretending that someone's behavior is okay. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is remove yourself from situations that don't honor your worth. I'm seeing that what you did was set a boundary so clear, so firm, so unwavering that it forced everyone around you to look at their own behavior. And they didn't like what they saw. That's why it felt like such a low blow to them. It wasn't the action itself. It was the mirror you held up to their consciousness. The Knight of Cups is galloping through your energy field right now saying, yes, you absolutely did the right thing. Yes, you absolutely have the right to protect your emotional space. And yes, the way you did it was actually incredibly graceful, even though it didn't feel like it in the moment. Comments are going absolutely insane right now. You all are feeling this energy so strongly. Taurus energy is just different when it finally decides to move, isn't it? Now here's where things get even more interesting, because the third card that wants to speak, I cannot believe what I'm looking at. The Hermit just stepped forward in Taurus. This is giving me actual chills because this is the opposite of what anyone would expect after such a bold move. The Hermit isn't about hiding or being isolated. The Hermit is about wisdom. The Hermit is about having done the internal work necessary to trust your own guidance completely. What I'm seeing here is that your low blow didn't come from a place of reaction. It came from a place of deep, deep inner knowing. The Hermit is showing me that you spent months, maybe even years, trying to handle this situation gently. You tried patience, you tried understanding, you tried giving the benefit of the doubt. But the Hermit also represents the wisdom to know when enough is enough. And what you did, what shocked them so deeply, was that you finally acted from that place of inner wisdom instead of from the place of people-pleasing that they had grown so comfortable with. The Lantern. The Hermit carries? That's your truth illuminating the darkness of their denial. They've been living in a fantasy where they could treat you however they wanted because gentle Taurus would always be there to absorb it. But the Hermit energy says not anymore. Not ever again. This is profound because the Hermit represents spiritual maturity, and spiritual maturity sometimes looks like disappointing people who have grown attached to your smaller version of yourself. Spiritual maturity sometimes looks like being called mean or harsh by people who benefited from your previous willingness to accept less than you deserve. The Hermit is walking away from that old dynamic with complete confidence in the rightness of the path. And that confidence, that unshakable knowing that you did what needed to be done, that's what has them so shook up right now. They expected you to second guess yourself. They expected you to come back apologizing, explaining, trying to make them feel better about the boundary you set. But the Hermit energy doesn't apologize for standing in truth. The Hermit energy doesn't explain or justify what is obviously right. And that silence, that refusal to engage in their attempts to make you doubt yourself, that's the real power move here, Taurus. This energy is incredible, and we're not even halfway through what the universe wants to show you. The fourth card is making my hands shake, and when I tell you what it is, you're going to understand exactly why this whole situation unfolded the way it did. The Tower. Taurus. The Tower. Do you understand what this means? Everyone has been tiptoeing around this situation, trying to hold together something that was meant to fall apart. Everyone has been so focused on keeping the peace, on maintaining the status quo, on pretending everything was fine. But you know what? Sometimes someone has to be willing to be the lightning bolt. Sometimes someone has to be willing to be the earthquake that brings down the structures that were built on lies and manipulation and taking advantage of your good nature. The Tower isn't destruction for destruction's sake. The Tower is liberation. The Tower is the universe saying this foundation was never solid anyway, and it's time for something real to be built in its place. What you did, this thing that shocked them so deeply, you didn't just set a boundary. You didn't just stand up for yourself. You brought down an entire system that was keeping you small. You brought down an entire dynamic that was draining your life force. The Tower is showing me that they're in shock right now because they never thought you had it in you to be the one to end this. They thought you were too kind, too patient, too invested in keeping everyone happy. They thought they could rely on your desire for harmony to keep you trapped in situations that served them but depleted you. But the Tower energy has been building in you for so long, Taurus. Every time you said yes when you meant no. Every time you prioritized their comfort over your own truth. Every time you stayed quiet when you should have spoken up. All of that energy was building and building until it reached a breaking point. And when the Tower energy finally struck, it was swift, it was decisive, and it was final. There's no going back from Tower energy. There's no rebuilding the same structure. There's no pretending this didn't happen. The lightning bolt of the Tower is illuminating truths that can never be unseen again. The falling crown is showing that whatever authority or power they thought they had over you has been completely demolished. The falling figures represent all the false versions of yourself that you're no longer willing to play. This is why they're calling it a low blow, Taurus. Not because what you did was unfair, but because it was so effective at dismantling their illusions that they don't know how to cope with the reality you've revealed. My DMs are absolutely flooded with Taurus energy right now. You all are really going through this Tower moment together. The fifth card wants to speak, and when I tell you what it is, you're going to see the beautiful future that's being created from this apparent destruction. The star is shining so brightly for you right now, I can barely look at the card directly. After the Tower comes the star, and Taurus, this is the universe's way of saying that what felt like an ending was actually the most beautiful beginning. The star is pure hope, pure healing, pure authentic self-expression, flowing freely without any of the restrictions that were placed on you before. The woman in the star is naked, unashamed, pouring water freely between the pool and the land. This is you now, Taurus. This is you without the masks, without the people-pleasing, without the fear of their reactions. You thought setting that boundary was going to isolate you, didn't you? You thought standing up for yourself was going to leave you alone. But the star is showing me the opposite. The star is showing me that your authenticity is going to attract people who actually deserve your energy. The 7 small stars around the large star, those represent all the new connections, all the new opportunities, all the new experiences that are going to come into your life now that you're no longer wasting your energy on people who don't appreciate your value. The star appears after the Tower to remind us that sometimes things have to fall apart so that something infinitely better can be born. And what's being born for you, Taurus, is a version of yourself that doesn't compromise on your worth. A version of yourself that doesn't shrink to make other people comfortable. The water. The star woman is pouring. That's your emotions flowing freely again. That's your creativity returning. That's your hope being restored. For so long, you've been holding back parts of yourself to avoid conflict, to keep the peace, to maintain relationships that honestly weren't serving your highest good anyway. But the star energy doesn't hold back. The star energy shines authentically and attracts exactly what it needs. The star energy trusts that the universe will provide better matches for this truer version of who you are. The comment section is going absolutely wild right now. So many Taurus placements saying they're feeling this exact energy shift happening in their lives. I need to pull one more card because the energy is so intense around your situation that I feel like there's something else the universe desperately wants you to know. Justice. Oh my God, justice. Taurus, do you see what just happened here? The universe just confirmed that what you did was not only justified, it was divinely orchestrated. Justice doesn't show up by accident. Justice shows up when the cosmic scales needed to be rebalanced, and you were chosen to be the agent of that rebalancing. Justice is sitting here with her sword raised and her scales perfectly balanced, and she's looking me dead in the eye saying, tell them this was always meant to happen. Tell them this was always part of their path. Tell them they were always meant to be the one who said enough is enough. The sword of justice cuts through illusion with precision. Your action, your boundary, your refusal to continue accepting unacceptable treatment. That was justice working through you. The scales of justice show perfect balance, and what you did brought balance back to a situation that had become completely lopsided. For too long, you were giving 80% and receiving 20%. For too long, you were accepting responsibility for other people's emotions while they took no responsibility for how their actions affected you. For too long, the scales were tipped so far in their favor that you forgot what fairness even looked like. But justice energy doesn't tolerate imbalance forever. Justice energy builds and builds until the correction is swift and absolute. And that's exactly what happened here, Taurus. You didn't give them a low blow. You gave them a justice blow. You gave them exactly what the cosmic scales required to restore balance. The blindfold of justice represents objectivity, and what you did came from such a clear, objective assessment of the situation. You weren't acting from emotion or revenge. You were acting from a place of simple truth. This dynamic is not acceptable, and it ends now. Justice is also about consequences. And the consequence of their behavior toward you was that they lost access to your energy, your patience, your willingness to absorb their dysfunction. That's not a punishment, Taurus. That's just natural law. That's just cause and effect. The fact that justice appeared in your reading means that what you did is going to create positive ripple effects that extend far beyond this immediate situation. Other people in their orbit are going to see how you handled this, and it's going to give them permission to set boundaries too. Your action is going to help restore balance in ways you can't even imagine yet. I'm getting messages from Spirit that there's more to this story, so let me pull one final card to see what else needs to be revealed. The Eight of Cups is walking into your reading, and Taurus, I'm about to cry because this is the most perfect completion to your story. The Eight of Cups shows a figure walking away from 8 cups, leaving them behind to seek something higher, something truer, something more aligned with their soul's purpose. This is you right now, Taurus. This is you realizing that what you thought you wanted, what you thought you needed to hold on to, wasn't actually serving your highest good. The cups left behind represent all the emotional investment you put into this situation, all the energy you spent trying to make it work, all the hope you had that things would change if you just loved harder, understood more, gave more chances. But the Eight of Cups represents the wisdom to know when it's time to stop pouring your precious emotional energy into cups that have cracks in the bottom. The figure in the Eight of Cups is walking toward mountains in the distance. Those mountains represent the challenges and growth that await you on your authentic path. It's not an easy path, but it's your path. It's the path that honors who you really are, instead of who everyone else needed you to be. The cups left behind represent all the emotional investment you put into this situation, all the energy you spent trying to make it work, all the hope you had that things would change if you just loved harder, understood more, gave more chances. But the Eight of Cups represents the wisdom to know when it's time to stop pouring your precious emotional energy into cups that have cracks in the bottom. The figure in the Eight of Cups is walking toward mountains in the distance. Those mountains represent the challenges and growth that await you on your authentic path. It's not an easy path, but it's your path. It's the path that honors who you really are instead of who everyone else needed you to be. What they're calling a low blow, the Eight of Cups reveals as the most loving thing you could have done for yourself and for them. Sometimes people don't learn until they experience the natural consequences of their actions. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do is stop enabling someone's dysfunction by absorbing the impact of it. The Eight of Cups is emotional maturity in action. It's the wisdom to know that you can love someone and still protect yourself from them. You can wish them well and still refuse to be their emotional dumping ground. You can care about their feelings and still prioritize your own well-being. The moon in the Eight of Cups is showing me that this decision came to you during a time of deep reflection, probably during some late night when you finally got honest with yourself about what this relationship or situation was really costing you. The moon represents intuition, and your intuition has been telling you for months that this needed to end. What I love about the Eight of Cups energy is that it's not angry walking away. It's not bitter walking away. It's peaceful walking away. It's walking away with love for yourself and with hope for what's possible when you stop settling for less than you deserve. The comments are absolutely exploding right now. So many people are saying they're getting the chills. They're feeling this energy so strongly. Now I need to pull another card because I'm feeling like there's something about the financial aspect of this situation that needs to be addressed. And oh my God, the King of Swords just slammed down on the table. Taurus, this is insane because this is showing me that your decisive action, your boundary, your refusal to continue accepting unacceptable treatment, this has created a complete mental shift in how you approach your resources, your time, your energy. The King of Swords represents mastery of the mind, clear thinking, decisive action based on logic and wisdom rather than emotion. This is showing me that what you did wasn't an emotional outburst like they're probably trying to paint it as. This was a calculated decision made by someone who had finally seen the situation clearly. The King of Swords sits on his throne holding his sword upright, representing truth that cuts through confusion and manipulation. For so long, Taurus, you've been allowing others to confuse you about what's reasonable, what's fair, what you should expect from relationships. But the King of Swords energy has awakened in you, and now you can see situations with laser-sharp clarity. You can see manipulation tactics before they fully form. You can spot emotional blackmail from a mile away. You can recognize love bombing, guilt tripping, and gaslighting the moment they start. This mental clarity is your new superpower, and it's what's going to protect you from ever ending up in a similar situation again. The King of Swords represents the development of emotional intelligence so sophisticated that you can maintain compassion for people while still protecting yourself from their dysfunction. What I'm seeing is that your boundary, your low blow as they're calling it, was delivered with the precision of a surgeon removing a tumor. It was exactly what needed to be done, exactly when it needed to be done, with exactly the right amount of force to ensure the message was received. The King of Swords is also showing me that you're entering a phase where you're going to be making decisions based on facts rather than potential, based on people's actions rather than their words, based on how situations actually are rather than how you wish they could be. This is incredibly powerful energy for a Taurus because it combines your natural wisdom and patience with a new level of mental sharpness that's going to serve you incredibly well in all areas of your life. Let me pull one more card to see what this means for your immediate future. 9 of Pentacles. Taurus, I'm literally screaming right now because this is showing me that your boundary, your refusal to continue accepting less than you deserve, this is directly connected to a phase of incredible abundance and self-sufficiency that's coming for you. The 9 of Pentacles shows a woman in her garden, completely content with her own company, surrounded by the fruits of her own labor. This is what happens when you stop giving your energy away to people who don't appreciate it. This is what happens when you stop trying to fix people who don't want to be fixed. All that energy you were pouring into that situation, the 9 of Pentacles is showing me that it's about to come flooding back to you in the form of personal success, financial improvement, creative fulfillment, and just an overall sense of prosperity and well-being. The woman in the 9 of Pentacles isn't lonely, she's liberated. She's not isolated, she's selective. She's not antisocial, she's self-possessed. This is the energy you're stepping into now that you've freed yourself from dynamics that were keeping you stuck. The bird perched on her hand represents new messages, new opportunities, new connections that are going to come to you specifically because you demonstrated such clear self-respect. The universe is about to start sending you situations and people that match this new level of self-worth you've claimed. The grapevines in the background show abundance that comes from patient cultivation and protection of what's truly valuable. By protecting your energy, by refusing to let it be wasted on people who don't treasure it, you've created space for genuine abundance to grow. The 9 of Pentacles is financially abundant, emotionally fulfilled, spiritually aligned. This is what's possible for you now, Taurus, now that you're no longer allowing your resources to be drained by people who take more than they give. But wait, there's more, because Spirit is not done with your reading. The 4 of Swords just appeared, and Taurus, this is so perfect because it's showing me the rest and recovery phase that you absolutely deserve after making such a brave and necessary decision. The 4 of Swords shows a figure lying in peaceful rest, but it's not the rest of defeat. It's the rest of someone who has fought the good fight and can now allow themselves to truly relax because the battle is over. The swords above represent the mental clarity you've achieved, the peace of mind that comes from finally acting in alignment with your values. This card is telling me that part of what made your action so shocking to them is that you delivered it and then you were done. You didn't stick around to argue about it. You didn't engage in lengthy explanations or justifications. You said what needed to be said, and then you went into 4 of Swords energy. This is incredibly wise, Taurus, because it shows them that your decision wasn't made from a place of emotional chaos. Your decision was made from a place of deep contemplation. And once it was made, you had complete peace about it. The 4 of Swords represents the integration period that comes after major life changes. You need this time to allow your nervous system to adjust to this new reality where you don't have to constantly manage other people's emotions or walk on eggshells around their dysfunction. The stained glass window in the Four of Swords shows that even in rest, you're connected to higher wisdom. Your decision to step away from that situation wasn't just good for you personally, it was spiritually aligned. It was what your highest self knew needed to happen, even when your human self was still hoping things could be different. This rest period is sacred, Taurus. It's allowing you to remember who you are when you're not constantly responding to other people's chaos. It's allowing you to remember what peace feels like when it's not being regularly disrupted by people who mistake your kindness for weakness. Oh my God, members are messaging me that they've been feeling this exact energy shift. The way Taurus energy works when it finally reaches its limit is just, there's nothing like it. I need to pull one final card because I feel like there's something about the love aspect of this situation that needs to be addressed. The Queen of Wands just stepped forward with such fierce energy that I actually jumped. Taurus, this is revolutionary because this is showing me that setting that boundary, delivering that low blow as they're calling it, this has awakened the Queen energy in you in a way that's going to change everything. The Queen of Wands doesn't just rule her domain, she creates her domain. She doesn't just set boundaries, she builds an entire kingdom where only authentic, respectful, loving energy is welcome. And that's exactly what you're doing right now, Taurus. The sunflower in her hand represents the warmth and light that will now be reserved for people who actually appreciate and reciprocate it. For too long, you were giving sunflower energy to people who preferred to keep you in the shadows. For too long, you were offering queen treatment to people who wanted to keep you feeling like a servant. But the Queen of Wands says no more. The Queen of Wands says from now on, your energy, your time, your attention, your love, these are royal resources that will only be shared with people who understand their value. The black cat at her feet represents the intuitive wisdom that guided your action. Your gut knew long before your mind was ready to accept it that this situation needed to end. The Queen of Wands represents trusting that intuitive wisdom completely and acting on it with confidence. This Queen energy is magnetic in a completely different way than your old energy was. Your old energy attracted people who wanted to take. This Queen energy attracts people who want to build with you, create with you, grow with you. The Queen of Wands is showing me that in the coming weeks and months, you're going to start attracting situations and relationships that actually match your energy level instead of draining it. You're going to be amazed at how different life feels when you're not constantly giving more than you receive. Your confidence is about to skyrocket because you've proven to yourself that you can trust your own judgment, you can set firm boundaries, and you can survive the temporary discomfort that comes with disappointing people who are comfortable with your smaller version. The Queen of Wands represents creative power, and I'm seeing that this whole experience is going to fuel some incredible creative projects, some passionate pursuits that you maybe put on the back burner while you were managing everyone else's emotions and needs. All right, Taurus, I'm feeling like there's one more card that wants to speak, and then we're going to wrap up with what this all means for your next steps. The Two of Pentacles is dancing into your reading, and this is perfect because it's showing me how you're going to navigate this new reality you've created. The Two of Pentacles represents the ability to juggle multiple aspects of life with grace and skill. But here's what's different now, Taurus. Before, you were juggling everyone else's needs, everyone else's emotions, everyone else's expectations. The Two of Pentacles is showing me that now you're juggling your own priorities, your own goals, your own dreams. The figure in the Two of Pentacles is dancing while he juggles, showing that when you're managing the right things, when you're focused on what actually matters to you, the balance feels joyful instead of stressful. The infinity symbol connecting the two pentacles represents the eternal flow of energy that happens when you're in right relationship with your resources. Instead of your energy flowing out endlessly to people who don't appreciate it, your energy is now cycling back to you, growing, multiplying, creating more abundance. The ships in the background represent new opportunities on the horizon, and the choppy waters represent the temporary instability that comes with any major life change. But the Two of Pentacles shows someone who can stay balanced and even joyful while navigating uncertain waters. This is you now, Taurus. This is you learning to surf the waves of change instead of being knocked over by them. This is you discovering that you're so much more adaptable and resilient than you ever knew. The Two of Pentacles is also showing me that you're about to become much more strategic about where you invest your time and energy. You're going to start treating your emotional energy like the precious resource it is, and you're going to start making choices based on what gives you the best return on that investment. Let me just say this, Taurus. What you did, this thing that shocked them so deeply, this wasn't a low blow. This was a high blow. This was you operating from your highest self instead of your people-pleasing self. This was you choosing your own well-being over their comfort. This was you finally loving yourself enough to stop accepting unacceptable treatment. They're calling it a low blow because they never expected you to value yourself this much. They're calling it a low blow because they got comfortable with a version of you that put everyone else first. They're calling it a low blow because they don't know how to cope with a Taurus who knows their worth and isn't afraid to enforce it. But the cards are showing me that this was divinely guided. This was spiritually necessary. This was exactly what needed to happen for you to step into the next phase of your evolution. The tower had to fall. Justice had to be served. The star had to rise. The queen had to reclaim her throne. And now you get to dance through life like the Two of Pentacles, juggling only what serves you, only what honors you, only what contributes to your growth and happiness and peace. Your future is so bright, Taurus. Your future is so full of people who actually deserve your energy. Your future is so abundant because you finally learned the most important lesson of all. Your worth is not negotiable. The universe is celebrating you right now. The cosmos is throwing you a parade for finally standing up for yourself. And anyone who's calling it a low blow, they're just mad that they can't take advantage of your kindness anymore. Keep walking forward, beautiful Taurus. Keep honoring the wisdom that guided you to make this difficult but necessary choice. Keep trusting that what's meant for you will never require you to betray yourself to obtain it. The comments are going absolutely insane with Taurus energy right now. You all are really feeling this shift happening collectively.